oxygen and breathe out. You understand? That's what it is all about. It's for gas agent for breathing in and breathing out, and respiratory, like it's part of the respiratory system. So when your lungs is affected, you know that you have problem with breathing. For instance, they have diseases like bronchitis, bronchioles. That is when you're having inflammation of the esophagus. The lungs and the esophagus, the trachea, they are all parts of the respiratory system. Then you now come to your nose, your mouth. Do you understand? So these are all parts of the respiratory system. So when it's being affected, when your respiratory system is being affected, it affects every part of your body. It begins to affect your kidneys, it begins to affect your breathing, your lungs, your liver, your esophagus, your mouth. Everything is being affected. Your brain, there's decrease of oxygen, which causes hypoxia. That is when there is less oxygen in your body tissues. That's hypoxia. All right. So the lungs is very important. So we see that there's a popular disease called pneumonia. Pneumonia is caused by infection. People think that pneumonia is actually caused by excessive cold, but it's not cold. It's actually infection. It's actually a bacterial infection that affects your air sacs. That is the sacs that covers the lungs. So in any of these, in any of the lungs, you know there are two lungs in the body. So when there's an infection of these sacs or lungs, it causes pneumonia. And then you now feel the fluid or feel the pulse, and then you start finding it difficult to breathe and start having certain other health conditions or health ailments that affects you, like breathing, your nose, and they will start, putting in certain tubes in your body. Pneumonia, very, very deadly disease. It's actually a very deadly disease. So it affects children and people over 65 years. But this can be prevented as well as treated by using our CRANSTEMBOLD due to the presence of a powerful ingredient in this called chameleon plants. They call it chameleon plant, they call it fish meat, there's so many names to it, but it's a Chinese traditional medicine that's been used for more than 2,000 years. The chameleon plant and the ambercock tree plant. So these plants actually take care of everything that has to do with lung infections, such as bronchitis, bronchioles, pneumonia, and lung abscesses and lung fluid. All that, it takes care of it, and you have them here in its rightful quantity and quality as well. So we have the next one, the liver. The liver plays a role in nearly every system in the body. It interacts with both endocrine and the gastrointestinal system by aiding in digestion and metabolism. So the liver is a storage location for fat-soluble vitamins. It handles cholesterol. This cholesterol we are all fighting about. It's the liver that handles it and takes care of it. It stores iron. The liver is good for bile and copper. The particular ingredient that helps with the liver is very, very functional, because we've realized that the liver actually can go bad by your lifestyle choices. For instance, smoking. For instance, drinking. For instance, eating excessive fats, taking junk foods. All these things can actually affect your liver. And you begin to realize that, to take normal liver function test in the hospital is quite expensive.
12,000.
Just liver function test alone is quite expensive. So you need to take care of your liver. And the thing about liver is that liver can actually outgrow it. It can grow. If there's a cut or something, you just put in, somebody wants to do liver transplant, you take it. There's a possibility of growing, unlike kidney and other organs. So you have to still take care of it. There's some people liver that you bring it out that is as black as, and it's not supposed to be black because of it overworks itself. You understand? So to take care of this liver, our CRANSTEMBOLD is very good. For instance, see hepatitis. Hepatitis is a very deadly disease that's even more deadlier than HIV and even cancer itself. Because you may be having hepatitis, you don't even know you are having hepatitis. Hepatitis C, hepatitis B can actually be taken care of by CRANSTEMBOLD with the presence of Radix and Prostate suppensa. That's another Chinese plant that has been used for a long time and does wonders to the liver. It helps with, especially when there's inflammation of the liver, which can occur at any time, even you don't know. But you just realize that you are having a little bit of swelling here or there, or you have problem with when you take in, there's no maybe cholesterol, increase of cholesterol, bile in your bloodstream, all these things. Before you know what is happening, the liver has gotten inflamed and then it leads to other health ailments. So our CRANSTEMBOLD takes care of hepatitis and as well as liver cancer, which is very important. Then the next slide, please. The heart. The heart is a powerful organ. It's an organ, it's what makes up the cardiovascular system. The heart. The heart should be well taken care of. I mean, anybody can fall a victim of heart diseases, even a child, a baby. So the heart is, that's why they say even when you're pregnant, please be careful what you eat, what you drink, because you can affect your baby. And the heart itself is very, very, it takes in certain diseases on very quickly rather than other organs. It can easily attract certain diseases very quickly because it does so much work, pumping blood in and out of the system. You understand? Taking oxygenated blood to your brain, all that. It does so much work. So the heart's primary organ is the circulatory system and contains four main chambers. We already know that is being powered by electrical impulses from your nervous system. So the heart does so much functions, and if not well taken care of, it can actually break down. And when it breaks down, ah, to get it back to its original this thing is serious work. You spend millions of millions just to make sure that your heart begins to even work, even if it's not optimal. At least let it get to a certain point. So the heart, the brain, and the nervous system actually is connected also to the heart function. So the ingredients are CRANSTEMBOLD that is used specifically to treat any heart diseases, especially septic shock heart failure. What septic shock heart failure? Those people that experience cardiac arrest, heart attack, all that. You understand? Hypertension. Hypertension, whether we believe it or not, is one of the latest deadly diseases we have in this country, Nigeria. People die every day due to hypertension, especially because it is a silent killer. You don't even know when it is you just realize maybe a little bit of pain, let me go and rest. And from there, the person has gone. There are certain things that we do that we shouldn't even be doing when we having hypertension, and we don't know. For instance, bathing in cold shower. Some people slump in the bedroom. Some people slump on the roads. Why? These are things they are doing things that they're not supposed to do. Some people don't know that when you are having certain heart palpitations or arrhythmia, there's a way you sit, your position sitting, and your affects it as well. So all these things, to not even reach that stage, the best is to take your CRANSTEMBOLD. So you don't get to that point where you begin to tell you avoid oil, avoid water, avoid this, avoid that, sit here, all that. Why not start taking CRANSTEMBOLD? This is very important. For instance, the CRANSTEMBOLD here that we have cranberry and cushion. Cranberry stem cells, very good for the heart. It helps protect against every kind of coronary heart disease. And the cushion, which is like we call it bitter root in Chinese, it protects against every kind of what diseases that you can imagine that has to do with your heart. You know that your arteries can be blocked. Do you know that coronary arteries can be blocked due to fats? Cranberries good for it. There's a thing they call atherosclerosis, which is also what we call when your vascular system, that is the thing that makes up your arteries, your veins, your capillaries, when they are being blocked or clogged by plaque or fats. What happens? Blood, it finds it difficult to flow visually. What then happens? Atherosclerosis, that's what we call atherosclerosis in medical terms. It means that you find it, your blood cannot go in and go out as it's supposed to be. And before they'll tell you that, the next thing they'll tell you is surgery. That's what they'll tell you in hospital. Please, you need to go in for surgery. All this can be avoided by using our CRANSTEMBOLD. So you see how powerful this is. This is the next time. The kidney. The kidney is a very important organ in the body. And thank God we have two. So the kidney is to remove waste product and excessive fluid from the body. This waste product and excessive fluid are removed through urine. So there are so many diseases that are associated with the kidney, but there's a concealed disease of the kidney. We call it the phlebonephritis. Phlebonephritis is inflammation of the kidney, which is due to a specific type of urinary tract infection, actually a bacterial infection. This phlebonephritis can actually also be an autoimmune, if not well taken care of, whereby you begin to fight your cells. You understand? So when you take care of this, you can see how powerful urinary tract infection is. it's not just affecting maybe your urethra or your bladder or your vagina or any part of it, but it goes down to your kidneys as well and causes infection on it. And then the life becomes difficult. Infection is quite difficult to handle, but especially when it has gone so bad. So why not start down? Cranberry is very, very, very potent plant that is used to treat every kind of urinary tract infection before it sticks to any part of your organs. So the cranberry plant is very, very important and it is present here in its large and normal quality and quantity of it. The kidney is very important. Even people that use cream, use soap, you may not even know that certain creams and soap, the chemicals used to produce them, can actually affect your kidney at the long run. Yes, it can actually affect your kidney at the long run if you are not aware. You just realize that at a point you find it difficult to urinate, you find out you're having swollen legs, all this, and then you begin to wonder, I've been taking care of myself. Where did it come from? From creams and soaps. So we have to be very, very, very cautious and conscious of our health. And when you take cranberry and CRANSTEMBOLD, you can imagine now you're protecting yourself from unknown and unseen circumstances. The brain, the brain is a complex organ. It controls everything that has to do with you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your motor visions, everything. Together with the brain and the spinal cord is what now makes up the central nervous system. And this, oh my God, I so much love my Sophora flavescens. I wish I can plant it in my house. The Sophora flavescens, we call it cushion too, or bitter roots. It takes care of everything that has to do with brain, takes care of your sleeping pattern. People that have problems sleeping, insomnia, it regulates your sleep pattern. It takes care of anything that has to do with brain diseases, Alzheimer's, dementia, stroke, all these things that affects your brain, that makes your brain cell. Why am I saying? Because it feeds your brain cells and your nerve cells. Do you understand? This Sophora feeds goes directly to feed your brain cell and your nerve cells. So you can imagine that it prevents, and most of the time, let us be sincere with ourselves, most of these diseases are actually hereditary. From generation, we will not suffer for it now, people don't carry and come give us. You understand? So imagine you that do not know that you're having an hereditary disease, you will not begin to take care of yourself early until you get to the stage 3 or stage 4 points whereby you can do no other thing than whatever the doctor tells you to do. So before it gets to that point, let us start helping ourselves and our families by taking what? The CRANSTEMBOLD. Then the pancreas. The pancreas is another small organ that people do not even see that it's very insignificant, but it's actually very significant. It's found at the right, at the abdomen, at the right side of your abdomen, and it plays two major roles in your body. One is converts the food you eat to fuel, and secondly, it makes sure that it regulates blood sugar level, and that is a very, very, very vital part of our lives. Regulation of blood sugar level. Most of us, actually, diabetes can be it's mostly hereditary, but it also can be gotten just like that. If not well taken, if you don't take care of your health. Because, for instance, the insulin, there are actually two hormones that are being produced by the pancreas, the insulin and the glucagon. The insulin is what helps to lower your blood sugar, while the glucagon helps to increase it. So when there is no more production of insulin, maybe due to one factors or the other, maybe there are certain things you're eating or certain things that your body is not producing insulin as it ought to, what happens? It leads to what? Excess sugar going to your bloodstream, and with time you get type 2 diabetes. So all this can be prevented using this. By our cranberry, our Sophora flavescens, and our honeysuckle plants. These plants are here, and they do wonders with regulation of blood sugar level. They even help to produce insulin. The next we have the stomach. The stomach is an internal organ which plays a major part in digestion of food. And according to doctor, there is no permanent cure for peptic ulcer. Peptic what? Ulcer. Many of us are victims of this. Many of us don't even know when we become victims of peptic ulcer. It's a wound or tear in the linings of your stomach, your small intestine, and even your esophagus. So sometimes it's quite difficult for the doctor to diagnose that you have peptic ulcer because of the location of the tear. you just realize that you begin to have stooling of blood or urinating blood, and then you begin to have certain pains in almost your thoracic. This is what they call the thoracic part of your body. Do you understand? So what happens is this: with our CRANSTEMBOLD, you are able to prevent anything that has to do with ulcer and any intestinal abscesses or colon cancer or any other digestive issues that you feel you may have, or you may be having at certain times. You understand? Some people find it difficult to digest food. You understand? Easily. She may be able to eat yam, another person will eat yam and say, I can't, the thing is not good. All these things can actually be solved using our CRANSTEMBOLD. So you see how powerful this is. Powerful. Very, very potent and powerful. There is no exaggeration of it. It actually does what it says it does. And these plants are actually real. They are real. They are what we use. I mean, look at China, they live longer. Look at Japan and all those countries. They don't take mostly orthodox drugs. These are plants that they use to take care of themselves and their family. So you can see, for them to say, no matter what, we go back to nature, that means that nature is actually working what we don't know. Right? So these are the organs for now that we have been able to go through. And I hope you're blessed. And if you have any questions, you can as well ask.